No, maybe it did, but that box back there, I looked at it last night right at dark. Did not look like it was a swarm in there.
Which one?
All right.
I had a second swarm come in, and it doesn't look like it went into the box I thought it did.
All right.
Hey, did we have... Okay. Swarms don't normally leave here. They just find a box to go into and stay. I sure bringing in the pollen.
Yeah.
Oh, pollen's coming in like crazy.
Yeah.
So I was talking to some people about what's going on, like up in the South Hill and areas like that. The linden trees are getting ready to bloom. They've got plenty of bloom in several of the other kind of trees too. So they're having a good flow up.
Yeah. Sarah sent me a picture yesterday of her hawthorn, and I mean,
Yeah.
it was unbelievable how many bees were in there.
You ready to start, Doc?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at what we got here. What do we got? 56 pounds?
56 pounds.
And what was it last time?
55.
55?
No, it was
Okay.
50. It was 58 last
58.
week.
58.
58.
We need better pen.
58.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we're starting our video again. So here it is, 6-6. And our hive here is about 56 pounds, double deep. Last week it was 55 pounds. So it's only gained a pound, and we're suspicious that this one might have swarmed, but it's not the one we were expecting to. So let's take a look and see what we got. Remember last week, we didn't have this queen working very much in the second box. So let's see, what do we count for frames down there? Looks like well, this one's drawn out. We got maybe 2-3 frames of bees upstairs. This isn't what we would tell you to do, but we just want to get a count of bees before we start.
There's 2 frames up here.
Okay. All right, so let's set that aside.
Look at all that drone. Yikes.
We're going to have to get this old box out of here and put an IEBA box in
We
it.
brought one. That's what that is right there.
Well, you'd think we'd center our frames better than that, wouldn't you? Man, we'd be yelling at you guys if you did that. Look at that. We're asking for bird comb everywhere. Okay, we're going to take out our outside frame, see what we got. Now, these are all drawn down here except for one. That's the second one from the outside there.
Well, we got a whole bunch of peanuts.
There you go. Look at that.
1, 2, 3 closed, 1 open, and it's wet.
You got two other ones, one right here and one over there. So
Both of those are open.
Yeah.
This one's wet. I can't tell about this one.
it is just by the way the bees are feeding it. See?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, see those queen cells? Don't forget what they look like. Okay? But this was one that's not closed up. Those are capped. So once they've capped, say if they capped yesterday, 8 days from now they're going to hatch. Okay?
Look at that. What is that coming from, I wonder?
Pollen. Oh, that purple pollen.
Yeah.
Oh, we always get some purple pollen here. I have no idea where it comes from. I asked Ted, he doesn't know. All right. Oh, we got a beautiful frame brood here.
You want your fork?
Oh, we got 2 more peanuts at the bottom, both open.
So we didn't have any peanuts last week. Okay,
No,
let's
we
take
did.
those off.
Yeah, we took them off last
We
week.
took
There's
them off.
another one over here. That's a cell or a cup over there.
2 cups, one right here
Yep.
and there.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna take those out so we know we didn't leave anything behind. There's a frame of brood. There is nothing on that side, no queen.
Larva.
We gotta show that to them when we do that. Okay, let's look at the third end frame. like to not see any more queen cells. So that all hatched
Yeah,
out.
that's a hatch out. Yeah.
Remember last week we had our heavy brood cap brood was down at this end. So you're seeing a major hatch out. Okay.
These bees are so calm.
Boy, they're not even flying off the frame.
No.
Another peanut. It's open.
Yep. Now see where they're stashing them all over. So you got to look real careful. Right now you got a lot of worker bees out working. Right here's one hatching out. Remember this was all cap brood last week. And and here's another one hatching out. Oh yeah, look at that. See him over there helping that one. There we go. You got to really look down on those bottom bars. Now those cells we saw were swarm cells.
Oh, that's beautiful frame of brood there.
Boy, isn't it? Okay.
Both sides.
That's picture perfect what you should see. See the capped honey in the corners? That means they're bringing plenty in. Okay. Okay, this is starting to hatch out in the middle too.
And she's come back and started filling in.
Yeah.
That's all larvae in there.
Well, we got
In
a lot
the middle.
we got a lot of cells on that
Next
frame we
one.
moved over.
Yeah.
And look, the cups on the bottom there.
Yeah.
That's all hatched out. So that looks pretty good.
This is all eggs in here.
So let's keep looking for her. Might not find her today. You gotta look for that the hive is right by looking for eggs and larvae, and if you see that, you know you got your queen.
Oh my God.
And look, that's a nice one they drew out. But remember, we put it up against a good, nice comb over there.
Oh, look at them.
Yeah.
No sign of the queen on that.
Supersedure cells.
Lots of supersedure cells.
Okay, normally when they make them up in the middle of the frame, we count them as supersedure cells. Okay?
All of them are wet.
We'll take them all away. We're good. And look at the other side was good too. Haven't seen hiding her hair of that queen.
No, and there's a lot less bees in here, it feels like.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, that's a big peanut. Look at that.
Oh, that's a beauty
That's
there.
a beauty right there. Look at that.
Do we have any nooks here?
No.
That would be a perfect cell, queen cell, to take out and put into a mating nuke or a regular nook, and you've got a brand new queen going.
Now, do we want to take that out?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see if we can save it.
Here's another one.
Kind of funny. The queen cells are about 6-7 days apart. It looks like the open ones versus the closed ones.
Let me see your knife.
Hang on. Jerry's got to dig here.
You want to just put it in a deep box for a little bit? Because I think we've got nooks in the connex.
Well, there's going to be so many here that it doesn't matter. The thing that you could do, if you come across this, you can go ahead and cut this out very gently. Cut it out. And I use an incubator. You can buy a chicken incubator, which works real well. And you can set this in the incubator, and she'll just, as long as you keep enough humidity in there and the temperature up, she'll hatch out just fine. I do it all the time. Or you could take this and put it Keep it upright.
Okay.
Keep it upright like that. Keep it upright like this. Put it in your pocket. You can also, there are little holders that you can get. I have a bunch of them.
I think I have one in my truck.
There's one in my box. Would you go get it so we can show them? And what you can do is take this, set it in the holder, stick it in the center of a 2 or 3 frame nook, and you've got a new hive going.
Let me hold it.
That's gonna be a real nice queen there. Now, we never saw her.
So
We may have an issue that she's not.
but we saw eggs, so we know.
We did see eggs, so she's here.
Let's go through those.
Yep, let's go through the second.
We're going to go through the top. So here's what I'm talking about, and you can just set this in there like that. Gently stick that in the side of your frame, and it'll be perfect.
Whoops. God damn it to me.
When you're hatching or a queen is emerging, the biggest thing you need to consider is humidity. The temperature can drop. It can drop down into the 70s, no problem. They recommend to stay up in the 80s and 90s, but they can drop down into the 70s, no problem. But you have to have a lot of humidity in there. Humidity is more important than temperature.
So on this one, this is the fruit. This is the fruit right here. So there's a special couple of those in there.
Oh, to feed it after it comes out.
Pull that one out. It's pretty true. It's all nectar.
Yeah.
Remember, we only had approximately close to 8 frames of bees last week. Nothing there. Okay, look. We had cells on this one.
Yeah, lots of drones.
Lots of drones.
Would you grab my fork, please?
We're gonna do a mite check with for the drones for see if they got mites with our capping knife or fork. Well, they're working the honey pretty good there. Look at that. You see how they're putting their honey away? See that?
Whenever you're going through your hives, at this stage now, when you have a whole lot of drones, real smart thing to do to get an idea if you've got any mites is to do just like this, just like that, and then you can check for mites.
look
We
down
don't
in the
see
hole.
any here. There's none in the hole. You can see the remnants of the cocoon there in the bottom. That's why the wax starts turning the color it does. No mites so far here.
Good show. So what do we want to do with those queen cells we left?
We have to,
We either requeen or we let them grow and take
We
care of
didn't find the
business.
queen, so we can't remove the queen yet. So we got to do something with that, bring the
yeah.
cells down there.
Let's go through it again, see
Okay.
if we can find the queen.
Okay?
If we can find the queen, we can remove her, and then this hive won't swarm. But as it is now, this hive's going to swarm.
I feel like it has.
But it's odd that a hive would want to swarm when it's got 6 frames empty. Okay? That's just not their nature. I would suspect that we're really got a supersedure situation going on.
It may be
But
that
we might have a supersedure situation going on, and they're close to booting her out. Because those are pretty.
she may have broke a leg. There's any number of things that's going to cause them to supersede a queen. Okay, we got 10 pair of eyes here.
I didn't see her, but I wouldn't expect to find her on that.
Wouldn't expect to see her on this frame,
Yeah.
but you never know.
Lots of larvae
Yeah.
that she's backfilled.
There's some real young larvae here.
Now there's a frame I would think she might want to be on.
Are those backfilled, Jim?
No.
Now Jim just lightly blew on them to get the bees out of our way. As you can see, a lot of these bees are real fuzzy, so they've hatched recently.
Another one. See how they hid this one right here?
Yep.
Over in the
hid from
corner?
us.
See that?
Almost capped.
Check the Mite thing on those drone cells at the bottom, because that's a brood frame.
We're not hearing about very many mites on. I don't see any. Okay. I think the next frame we might have a chance of finding her also. You're looking for her to be on a frame that isn't all capped brood.
Look at all the young bees just emerged. Here's one, here's one, here's one.
I think we're good. Nope. See, we would kind of expect her to be on a frame that's open where she could have room to lay, not on a frame that she's got to hunt for an open cell all over the place.
Boy, I sure don't see her on that one.
No.
That's all capped.
You wouldn't expect her on
No,
here
wouldn't
either.
expect her on there.
Unless she just wants to mess with us. But see how the bees are all spread out? They're just keeping the frames warm. That's all they're doing. There's nothing to feed there or anything like that. Not much larva on that. Well, the next frame is an open frame that hatched, so maybe. Just missed her here. You gotta.
That is awful, awful young larva.
Okay. See, when we tell you at those field days that looking for the queen can be a real pain, you could be here a long time, and you really can if you have a reason to find her. But we know that she's laying eggs, so she's been here recently.
Within 3 days.
Yep.
Did I I don't see her anymore.
But I've had queens go and hide on the bottom board until I'm done. The queens don't usually like the screen though. Well, you think she'd want to lay on that one?
Well, they got it full of honey though.
Yeah.
She may have been one on one of these and then run back and is over here now. You never know.
Okay. Easy to tell she's not there.
You notice that sound is getting a little louder. They're getting a little perturbed with us.
And it's the bees that are on the side of the board
Yeah,
over here.
she could be. She could be.
Oh,
there.
they're trucking over though. Look at them. Look at them going down the wall and across the screen.
Yeah.
Look at how young this larva is. I don't see her.
I think she's there, but now we
Yeah,
gotta
I was
decide
gonna
what to
say.
do with those queen cells. Now, there is an option here. We can,
Take that frame and put it in another hive.
I can put it in a nuke for a little bit and let's find out what we got. There's a nuke, so
Right.
let's just say 8.
I'd say 8.
Yeah, so frames of brood we had about the same, about 6, so 8B6. So who's got the marker
It's
pin?
coming.
We keep forgetting to put that in our suit, don't we?
Yeah.
I got one, John.
Okay. On to the next story.